Here's the thing about PPF and color wrap and all the stuff for the Cybertruck. You spend way more time doing the edges than you actually do in squeezing down the panels. The panel is a piece of cake. You get to the edges, it gets a little bit harder. What's going on, guys? So while we were doing some R&D on the color PPF, we wanted to show you how to remove the front panel and also the light bar. Why? So I have half of this hood, actually some PPF that goes over, okay? What happens is because this light bar is there, for PPF, you are usually doing a wet install, and it takes a long time for this area to dry. So typically, when you have this excess, you want to go inside and underneath the light bar. But here's the thing, it can get pretty difficult. It may be a lot easier for shops, especially if they're doing a lot of them, to just remove the light bar and the front panel. And the shop will decide if that is the case. We're gonna go ahead and remove this, and this is actually held by 10 millimeter. And then the light bar is held mostly by the 8 millimeter and a pin on the sides. So this will be a step-by-step we will be going over. So let me explain. This is going to be right here. There's two here, two here, two here, two here, and all the way across. One thing when I do this is I like to just leave it up like this. It is a lot heavier than it looks, okay? I thought it was just this thing, but it's a bunch of welded steel as well, so overall it gets pretty heavy. So let's go ahead and loosen it all up. So before we move on, I obviously have two more screws over there. You can see it's starting to loosen up. I want to remove this trim over here. So since our camera's over here, I'll show you this one. Other side's exactly the same, but there is a little dot right here. What you want to do is loosen that up. And then bring that out. And then you should be able to remove this. And then these clips, I'm just gonna leave it like that. There's two plastic clips right here. It's a little bit harder to remove, so I'm just gonna leave it and let it fall with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this one up as well. And then same thing here. Oh, this one fell a lot easier. So you can see the clips right here. But if it doesn't fall, it's not really an issue. But we're gonna go ahead and loosen this one. You got two more screws. All right, so one thing about this frunk is it's not just gonna plop down because it's raised like this. However, if you have it down, it will actually start coming down, and it is pretty heavy. So once I have it like here, I can go ahead and look at that. Go ahead and move it straight up, and then go ahead. I'm gonna put it safely on a bumper holder, which is right over here. This allows you to just easily fold over those edges when you're wrapping. Let me just show you on this side before I move forward. Some folks will remove all of these. It's a lot. These are all the same, 10 mil. But if you do that, you can remove this plastic trim, which means that you'll have better access to it and you can really clean it and get rid of that dirt. Without it, there's just not a lot of space and it does get a little bit harder to clean. So that's another reason why people want to do that. It's only just this clips and it'll just pop off. So that's pretty standard. The other thing that I want to mention is this is something that Tesla added later down in the production. These corners are really sharp, but this is what that's for. But you can see that it has a stainless steel, and then it has this plate that actually bolts into the front with all this 12 bolts, okay? So this is a construction. There's also 3 guidelines right here. These are the things I make sure that they're in place. So that's that. Let's go ahead and remove the light bar. So once we have these two nuts removed, they're actually going to be 8mm. It's not going to come off right away, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and close it. But check this out. I think this looks pretty cool. There's something that we've been working on for the past few weeks that we can't wait to tell you guys about, but this has something to do with it. So make sure if you haven't, click on subscribe. But we got these connections right here. We can take that later. You got the button right here as well. But there's actually 2 more screws right here. This is a bracket that holds right here. And we're gonna go back to the 10mm. There we go. And then let's go ahead and remove this. This one definitely helps to have 2 hands. Okay, but once you get this out, again, helps a lot having 2 people. But you can see I have this removed like so. And let me just show you the other side. What you're going to be dealing with, I'll put it right here, just gently right here. These are where the 10mm was. There is a single metal bracket right here, not a bracket, but a little pin, which is what you're pulling away from. So just watch out for that one. And then you got a couple of these clips right here as well. One thing to watch out for is the metal bracket is still inside right here. But essentially you just grab a trim tool, you kind of pinch it, and then this should come out. And then you should be able to put it right here. It'll make it a lot easier as far as putting it back into place. But this is what the light bar looks like. Make sure you're putting in a safe, soft. This is just like a little foam, so it makes it nice and easy. But I've seen a lot of wrap shops do this, and honestly, it's really about being able to clean it. If you look under here, there's just a lot of dirt that holds. So once you have the light bar off, you can literally heat it. And then if you have PPF like this, you could just heat it and then just fold over those edges. That's why, again, it's up to the wrap shop if they really want to remove that. Obviously, with all removals, there's always going to be risk. This one's a pretty low risk as far as like clips to break. I mean, these are kind of hard to break. All of these, they're not really breakable. So I think it'll be okay. If they're very, very handy and there's a body tech, then it's not a really big deal. It's not really going to add a whole lot of time. So just keep that in mind. But what do you guys think? This looks pretty cool. As far as putting it back in place, it's exactly the same. Make sure you connect it and you hear that click. And then once you're good, you should be able to put also the frunk back together as well. Well, hopefully guys, you learn a thing or two about removals. These are just one of the few removals. There's a few things on the Cybertruck that's like really, really easy to remove, and I think this is one of them. So I think as a wrap shop, you'll have to decide whether this is worth it or not. But let us know. What do you guys think about, should I leave it like this? Maybe put a glass over here? No, I'm just kidding. But we have something ahead that we're working on, so can't wait to tell you about it in the next couple of weeks. But click on that subscribe button. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you later.